What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be yet another Mermail combo tutorial video, and this time it's going to be on another one of the 4-card hand loops, or I guess you could call it a hand drop rather, since there's no actual loop occurring in your combo string. It's all just individual sequencing of plays. But I had a lot of people asking in response to the other hand drop videos and hand loop videos that I put up on what happens if you draw Diva, what happens if you draw Diva Soul Charge, all that. What's the best opening that you can think of that allows you to take 4 to 5 cards out of your opponent's hand? And in my opinion, best opening means opening with least amount of cards that's performing the combo. So that is what I'm going to be showing you guys today. This is the combo that I know of, the best one in my opinion, in terms of the one that I know that does 4 cards out of your opponent's hand with only 3 cards. Now it is rather specific though, but specificity was never an issue when it came to people asking me these questions, so I decided to be as specific as I needed to be for the purpose of this video. But for this combo, you need Soul Charge, Diva, and Teus. These 3 cards, you need to have a Draco Sack in your extra deck, you have to have Trishula in your extra deck, and then you have to be running Lead in your main deck for this combo to work. And also you have to be running Soul Charge. But that should have been obvious by now, right? But anyway, this combo takes 4 cards out of your opponent's hand and leaves you with a field full. You have Mizuchi on Lead, and you have a Draco Sack left and all this nonsense. So we'll just get into it. Starts off as you'd expect with normal summon Diva. You get Neptibus, send Dragoons, add Dragoons, and then the Dragoons engrave will trigger and add Megalo. All these steps are very, very similar to what we've done in the past. You reveal reveal Teus, discarding the second Dragoons you added, special Teus. Teus and Dragoons will both trigger, and you'll add Gund and Lead. So you've already set up your way to drop 1 card out of their hand. Pretty simple. I don't know if this isn't possible with Instant Fusion instead of the Soul Charge, because you're going to be off by 1 Water Monster count engrave, unfortunately. So it does have to be Soul Charge, but it ends up being worth it in the long run for what it is. But anyway, you'll discard Lead and Gund to special summon the Megalo. The Megalo and the Gund both trigger. Gund gets back Lead, and then the Megalo will add Abyssgale of the Mizuchi, or Abysssphere if you're running it in your main deck. Basically, this is something that you would expect to be doing turn 1 or any game 2 or 3 where your opponent makes you go first, or where any of these hand loops come into play. But in an ideal world, if you're choosing to go first or second with this deck, you should always be choosing to go second anyway. But regardless of that, we still haven't used a Soul Charge. Our field is clogged. We've got 3 Waters engrave. We need to set up our way to get into Mooling Glace and start taking cards out of their hand. First step is going to be to use Abyss Lead. It doesn't really matter which one you tribute off between the Teus or the Megalo. I just personally tribute off the Megalo, just because the other one is going to end up getting stuck under Draco Sack between whatever you left. So it just seems worth to put Megalo engrave so that it can be possibly revived later on with Salvage and Gund and stuff like that. All these different nonsensical things that can happen along the course of your play line. But you're going to overlay these 2 into, get the extra deck out of this box, into the Draco Sack. And then Draco Sack will detach Lead, and you will get your 2 Draco Sack tokens. Alright? And now normally in any other combo you would probably make Tatsunoko somewhere, because Tatsunoko fuels for an extra water, but you actually don't want that in this situation. You actually don't want the extra water to actually be a thing, because it actually just kind of ends up messing with your entire game plan. So you actually just sync straight with Diva, Neptibus, and the 2 tokens. You just synchro straight into 9 with these, and you go straight into Trishula to take the second card out of your opponent's hand via Trishula's effect. So that's 2 cards down, and then this is the point at which you're going to activate the Soul Charge. You have 3 open slots, so you're going to Soul Charge, and you're going to Soul Charge for double Dragoons and either Lead or Megalo. Lead is just typically better just because it's bigger, because it's just going to stay there and be equipped with Mizuchi. So now you take 3k, and now you have 4 Waters engrave. And so you overlay these 2 into a Dweller, and you have double Dragoons under a Dweller, and that's really good because that means if you get to use this again, it already sets you up for another search, which is really good. But you Dweller, detach the Dragoons to activate its effect, and then off the Dragoons you add your Mooling Glace, and you have 5 Waters engrave. So you special summon the Mooling Glace, and you take the last 2 cards out of their hand while also having Dweller up. So this combo, even though it only makes Dweller very late, it's still actually very safe against things like BA and stuff like that, because Farfa is a problem. Farfa can absolutely ruin your day to do this by banishing your Diva or something if you hit a Rhino or a Farfa out of their hand. or if you even hit like Scarm, they get a search, and that like negates the entire fact that you did the hand loop. But lead is the only card that's actually sending a card to grave, and you only send one card out of their hand to grave before you ever make Dweller. The Trishula is banishing, so that's a non-factor, but then you put the Dweller up and you discard 2 cards with the Mooling Lace. So it's actually still very safe. It's not as safe as other ones would have been, where you make the Dweller first before you start taking any cards, but it's still very, very safe for you to do in this method. It's very actually just like, it's just safe. Dweller allowing you to like hit things. The fact that you discard 1 off lead and then you make Trishula second, I mean, it makes it to where you're able to banish that card as well. So if it was something that had a grave effect, 1, you could just shut it off with Dweller, but 2, like Trish just banishes it, so it becomes a non-factor for the rest of the game as well. Like all this nonsense just happens. You get to equip your Mizuchi onto lead, making it huge, making it 35 and negating a spell. So your opponent essentially starts with a 1-card hand if they had a spell they were going to activate in the form of like Rhoda, Charge the Light Brigade, any of these like 1-for-1 spells that are trying to be, you know, consistency cards. They get negated by Mizuchi. So you spent 3 cards and you end with 6. And so you have a +3, and then your opponent goes down by 4. So, I mean, it's a +7. Technically a +8 if you want to factor in the fact that this negates a card. And it was free anyway. But I'm counting it as a tangible card in this card pool. But anyway, that's it for this combo. I mean, people wanted me to show like what happens when you enter, you know, when you add Soul Charge into the mix. And so this was the best combo that I could actually just really come up with on spot. I'm sure there might be one that's better, but it might take more cards and have a better ending field. But this is the one that's the most simple in terms of it only takes 3 cards. It only takes 3 cards to do this. Other people might have different versions of it that take 5 cards, but they require 5 specific cards in your hand. This one takes 3 and it takes 4 cards. So that's all there is to that. But anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Clicking at it if you have not, I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps make money, and there's no reason to lie to you guys about that. If you have an ad block enabled, please disable it. It helps me out more than you could ever understand or know, and I'd be greatly appreciative of you if that's something you can take the time of your day to do to show your support. And it just motivates me to continue making content. As long as people keep clicking ads, I will continue making content, because, I mean, money is a big factor in anybody's life, regardless of what they tell you. But other than that, I have started streaming. So my streaming channel is now linked in the description of, it's going to be linked in the description of this video, as well as all videos in the future as well. So if you want to go to that, give it a follow, do whatever, like you want to do that. If you want to, you know, be a part of my streams, then absolutely come in and join in. But other than that, I just want to know what you guys think about these Mermail combo tutorials, and I'll probably start moving on to doing combo tutorials of a different deck as well. If that's something that you guys are interested in doing. Because, I mean, these are just basically, like, although some are very generic and simple, the ones that are more complicated are really fun to show, but the ones that are more generic and simple just function as a guide for people that are trying to figure out, like, what things should be happening for the deck to function. I might actually start doing some DDD combo videos, and, like, just simple OTKs and stuff. I'll just have to proxy out all the OCG cards, because those are what I would want to be using. But I might do some with the TCG legal cards as well. Who knows? I've got a few decks that I'm looking at, on trying to look at and do things like that. But if you have any suggestions for decks you want me to do combos for, or look into, definitely leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at them. But other than that, that is all for this video. Let me know what you guys think, as usual, and as always, guys, take care.